If you are over 60 and you have started waking up at night to pee more than once, or you feel like you never quite empty your bladder, or you have to stand there for what feels like forever waiting for the stream to start, I want you to listen closely because these symptoms are not just part of getting older. They are signs that something deeper is happening in your body, something far more common than most men realize. As a prostate doctor, I have seen it again and again. And I am here to tell you this. Your prostate is trying to get your attention. And in many cases, it is not your age causing the problem. It is your daily habits. Quiet little things you do, maybe without even thinking, that make your prostate grow larger, heavier, and harder to manage. But here is the good news. Once you know what these habits are, you can change them. And when you do, you give your body the chance to restore balance, reduce pressure, and take back comfort. In this video, I am going to walk you through 3 everyday habits that quietly contribute to prostate enlargement and what you can start doing instead. These habits are incredibly common, even among otherwise healthy men. But when repeated over time, they place stress on your urinary system, stir up inflammation, and slowly push your prostate out of balance. You will learn what these habits are, why they matter, and what small changes you can make starting today. If you are tired of discomfort, urgency, or feeling like your bladder is running the show, this video is for you. And I will say this clearly, you are not doomed to live with these symptoms. Your body is capable of healing, especially when you remove what is constantly irritating it. The first habit that silently enlarges your prostate over time is something simple, something almost all of us are guilty of, especially when we are out, busy, or do not want to use a public restroom. It is holding your urine too long. Now, you might think that waiting a little extra while you finish an errand or get home is no big deal. But when this becomes a daily pattern, holding it for long stretches before allowing yourself to empty, you are creating pressure, not just in the bladder, but in the entire prostate region. You see, your prostate sits directly beneath your bladder, right at the base, and it wraps around your urethra like a soft, flexible collar. This is the tube that carries urine from the bladder out through the penis. Now imagine that tube surrounded by a ring. When that ring becomes swollen or tight, it does not take much to slow things down. When your bladder becomes too full, whether from holding in urine during a long drive, putting it off while watching a movie, or ignoring the urge during errands, it starts to expand upward and downward. And that downward pressure lands right on the prostate. It is like leaning on a sponge that is already sensitive. The more that bladder stretches, the more it pushes into the prostate tissue that is already being asked to do a big job. Over time, this repeated pressure creates small but important changes that once flexible prostate becomes irritated. The tissue becomes thicker, swelling sets in, and in many men, this constant strain becomes one of the quiet drivers of prostate enlargement. Men who routinely delay urination, especially those who think they are toughing it out or just waiting until it is convenient, often develop what we call bladder outlet obstruction. This is when the bladder is ready to empty, but the passageway is too narrow. The bladder muscle must work harder to push through a tight channel because the prostate has become enlarged and rigid. It is not only uncomfortable, it can cause long-term weakening of the bladder over time. This habit might seem harmless. After all, what is a little delay here and there? But to your body, it is like trying to force a balloon to hold more air than it was designed to carry again and again, day after day. Eventually, it affects structure, tone, and function. And unlike a balloon, your bladder and prostate do not pop. They adapt, and not always in good ways. If you are in the habit of waiting until the urge becomes nearly unbearable, I gently encourage you to change that pattern. Start listening to your bladder again. Go when you feel the need, not when the need becomes urgent. Responding earlier relieves pressure and helps your entire urinary system stay in better rhythm. This might seem like a small change, but over time it can lift an enormous weight off your prostate and give it the space it needs to calm down, heal, and shrink back toward normal. Now, let us shift to the second habit. And this one surprises a lot of men because it seems completely unrelated at first glance. It is the habit of ignoring constipation. When your bowel is full of compacted stool, especially from a diet lacking fiber, that pressure pushes directly against the back of the prostate. This pressure is not momentary. It is constant, like having a brick sitting against a sponge all day, every day. It stresses the tissue. It limits circulation. It irritates the nerves and creates a low-grade inflammation that does not just stay in the colon. It spreads to surrounding structures, including the prostate. And here is the kicker: over time, that chronic inflammation is one of the major contributors to benign prostatic hyperplasia, or what most men know as enlarged prostate. But it does not stop there. Constipation also messes with your internal chemistry. When stool stays in the body too long, it throws off your gut bacteria, that delicate ecosystem inside your digestive tract. When that balance is off, it creates system-wide inflammation affecting everything from your immune system to your prostate. The modern diet, particularly for older adults, tends to be high in refined carbohydrates, low in fiber, and often filled with processed foods, cheese, red meat, and not nearly enough water. These choices slow digestion, dry out stool, and cause the bowels to back up, sometimes without you even noticing right away. What starts as occasional sluggishness turns into a vicious cycle. Constipation causes pressure. That pressure inflames the prostate. The inflammation worsens the swelling, and the swelling worsens your urinary symptoms. So if you are not going regularly, or if your stools are hard, dry, or leave you straining, your prostate may be taking the brunt of that imbalance. Thankfully, the solution is within reach. You can begin to gently increase your fiber through natural soothing sources. Think about adding more cooked vegetables, fruits like prunes or pears, whole grains like oats, and simple digestive aids like chia seeds or ground flax seeds. These foods not only soften your stools and improve transit, they also reduce the internal pressure on your prostate from the inside out. And when your bowels move freely and completely, your prostate finally gets to relax. It is like clearing a crowded hallway. Everything flows better when the path is open. Now, let us talk about the third habit. One that is incredibly common, especially in the retirement years when routines slow down and comfort becomes more important than activity. And that habit is sitting for long periods of time without moving. Whether it is relaxing in front of the television, sitting at a desk with a cup of tea, scrolling through your phone, or reading a good book in your favorite armchair, the hours can pass quickly, and before you know it, your body has been inactive for much too long. What feels restful on the outside can actually become stagnant on the inside. You see, the pelvic area, where your bladder, colon, and prostate all live, is built for subtle, continuous motion. It thrives on circulation. It needs blood flow and gentle movement to keep nutrients coming in and waste being carried away. But when you sit for long stretches without moving, that lower part of your body stagnates. Circulation slows down. Oxygen and nutrients stop flowing freely. Lymph drainage weakens, which means your body becomes less efficient at removing toxins and inflammatory waste. And those byproducts, they start to collect right in the area where your prostate lies. The prostate is a soft, delicate gland. It is not built to handle constant stagnation. Like any living tissue, it needs good blood flow to stay healthy. When that flow is restricted for hours every day, the prostate can become inflamed, swollen, and irritated. And over time, this contributes to the kind of slow, silent growth that leads to prostate enlargement. Men who sit for long periods daily without incorporating movement are far more likely to develop pelvic tension, chronic low-level inflammation, and eventually enlargement of the prostate. And it often happens without obvious symptoms until the discomfort, urgency, or disrupted sleep shows up months or years later. This is why I recommend what I call movement snacks throughout the day. These are small, simple bursts of gentle activity, just enough to wake up your circulation and remind your pelvic area that it is still alive and needed. You do not have to go jogging. You do not need to break a sweat. Even something as modest as standing up every 30 to 40 minutes, walking across the room, Taking a few deep breaths while gently swinging your legs or stretching your lower back can bring life back into that part of your body. Think of your prostate like a sponge. If it never gets squeezed, never moved, it starts to stiffen and collect waste. But when you move even just a little, you help that sponge stay soft, fresh, and well-nourished. Movement is not just about staying in shape. It is about keeping the core of your body vibrant, alive, and responsive. Especially the hidden parts you do not see, but that quietly shape your comfort, your energy, and your quality of life. Even a few mindful minutes of movement every hour can help keep your prostate healthier for years to come. So now you know. 3 quiet, everyday habits that slowly contribute to prostate enlargement: holding your urine too long, neglecting your fiber intake, and sitting for hours without movement. These are not dramatic issues, but that is what makes them dangerous. They sneak in without much noise, and over the years, they create a world of discomfort, urgency, and frustration. But here is the power in all of this. Every one of these habits can be changed gently, gradually, and with care. You do not need to overhaul your life or start from scratch. You simply need to bring awareness to how your daily choices affect your prostate. I have seen men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s improve their symptoms, reduce their nighttime trips to the bathroom, regain stronger flow, and feel more at ease in their own bodies just by shifting these core behaviors. So, if you have been feeling frustrated, uncomfortable, or even a little afraid of what is happening down there, take a deep breath. You are not alone, and you are not powerless. Your prostate does not need to rule your life. You can take care of it just like it has been trying to take care of you. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and share it with a friend. Sometimes the most powerful changes come from the smallest bits of knowledge. Thank you for watching, and remember, your health is not behind you. It is in your hands, and the best is still to come.